Powercast live every Tuesday night. My voice is shot. Eric's in the house with me, and a very special guest. His name's Rob Williams from Vintage Wine Estates, a phenomenal wine company. He's going to go through about all the wines, where they're from, etc., etc. So welcome to the podcast. We are finally live on TikTok for the first time, and very excited to have you all with us. Instagram, Facebook. Hope you have a great show tonight with us. And let's get to know Rob a little better.
Thanks.
Before we start, make sure you go to YouTube, hit subscribe, go to Team Powerhouse Real Estate, hit subscribe. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us on YouTube,
Twitch,
Twitch.
Anchor, Spotify,
Google Podcast,
Apple Podcast.
and everywhere else. So thank you for joining us today in the show. Bob, thank you for joining us here today. And we're excited to have you with us.
Well, I'm thrilled to kick off the new year with you and talk about some of our fun wines like Bar Dog.
Absolutely. Let's talk about you a little bit first. Where are you from?
I'm actually from Hamden, next door.
No kidding.
Grew up in Hamden, and my wife actually is from Hamden also, and we'll be married 30 years this summer.
You mentioned your wife. What's your wife's name?
Donna.
Hey, Donna, if you're watching out there and you have kids,
Yep, I have Nick and Chris, so they're both adults now, so time flies.
hopefully Nick and Chris are watching the show as well.
They better be.
I hope so. Dad is doing a great job. He's live with you all over the internet, all over the world, being impressive. You can impress us over here. So let's talk about your life. You went to school where?
I went to school at Southern down in New Haven.
And what you major in?
Actually in marketing. That was took a few tries to figure out what major was up my alley, but that was it.
Marketing is a great field to be in, especially in the wine industry.
Yes, it is.
I mean, when you're in sales, how to market yourself and the product you're selling, it's very important. Let's talk about Vintage Wine Estates. So help us out.
So Vintage Wine Estates, it's been around for over 20 years out in Santa Rosa, California. It was actually started by Pat Roney, who's currently he was our founding partner, and he's the CEO now. And our president is Terry Wheatley, who I've actually worked with her for 10 years.
Wow.
When she created Canopy Management, which was Middle Sister and Purple Cowboy that we had back there. And Pat actually bought our company back in 2014. So we have a whole bunch of different brands across the line. We're a premium wine company, so everything's around that $10 to $150.
Wow.
A lot in the $15 to $25 range
Sweet
that we
spot.
have. Exactly, that's what people buy, and you get just great quality at that level. And I did bring some of your favorites back there, because I know you love that BR Cone.
So some great wines behind us over here, a whole table full. My favorite is the BR Cone for sure. We love going to dinner, obviously together, and enjoying a nice glass of wine.
Absolutely. So the company, we actually went public last summer too, which is pretty amazing. It's really exciting, and the company continues to grow. So from new brands like Bar Dog that came out that have really been growing a lot across the country, and it's a fun wine, to other innovative things like we bought a cider company. So we're even in the cider game now with
No kidding.
amazing apple cider out of California. So a lot of cool things and innovation in the company, and we have awesome wineries that you can visit when you're in California, like Clos Pegase, BR Cone, Cundy. Just spectacular locations and wineries to visit too.
How often do you get to visit these kind of places?
But once a year. Thank God the pandemic's over, so we got to go out this past summer, and that was a lot of fun.
That's very cool. Get to see the wines, the trees, the grapes,
Yeah.
how things are made.
But we don't make them on trees, we make them on vines.
I meant to say that's exactly. The brain isn't working. Yes, on vine. Thank you very much for the correction.
How did you end up in this business?
Actually, when I graduated Southern, I started in Connecticut for a little merchandising company called Modern out of East Haven, working for McCarty Brown Foreman, which is Jack Daniels.
Great question, by the way.
So I started with that and moved to Mass with them and to New York, and from there I ended up getting into the wine business and been here with Vintage actually for 8 years. Like I said, Terry for 10 with Terry.
Wow.
McCarty.
Did a lot of
Good
rum
stuff.
drinking back in the day.
That's some good stuff.
So tell us more about Bar Dog. I mean, we have a beautiful display of wines over here.
So Bar Dog's really a fun brand. Came out a couple years ago in Connecticut. We really just expanded around this past summer to include all 6 varietals. We're going to have a sparkling wine coming out in time for Valentine's Day, which will be a new wine for us also. But it all started with this Cabernet with the Boston Terrier on it. And Bar Dog was kind of named. Terry, who's also was Innovator of the Year in 2022, and 18, she's been a top 50 woman in wine. It's ridiculous to be with her and see how her mind's running when coming up with new ideas. And she's like, you know what? There's dogs everywhere, and her family comes from the rodeo business and ranching. and there's dogs and bar dogs, and she actually had a Boston Terrier. So that dog on there right now, our brand manager has a dog out there, and he runs around the office trying to get treats from everybody and having fun. But then we expanded from just having a Cabernet to adding a Chardonnay. I like to say it reminds me of my dog Roxy, because she was an adopted dog, and she was a lab mix. Then we added Pinot Noir and Red Blend, and then this summer we actually kicked in with a Sauv Blanc and a Pinot Grigio. So we really have a varietal for every customer out there. And what's really exciting about Bar Dog, and it's near and dear to my heart, is that we tied in with Pet Finder. And the company donates money towards Pet Finder to help adopt dogs from no-kill shelters.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, I've never heard of a wine company or a distributor or anybody involved in kind of actually a pet shelter and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, so we do have
How does
regional
that work?
partners.
How does that work with people who buy wine?
Well, what's great is that, we've been donating all year with Bar Dog, so we actually picked some local partners here. So in this area that we're in Connecticut right now, we have Dan Cosgrove out of Branford, and then in the northern part of the state down towards the Waterbury and Danbury area, we actually tied with Companion Pet Rescue, where actually one of my dogs came from too. And then throughout the country in every state, there are different partnerships that we help give them some extra money.
So does money go from Bar Dog sales to that?
It goes through the sales, and then periodically we run specials, like we just finished in Christmas with if you bought Bar Dog, you were able to snap a QR code, instant mail-in rebate, we called it, and you were able to donate money to Pet Finder and pay it forwards, or even at some of the restaurants in the area, we're promoting it the same way.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it's great cause with great wine at the same time.
And the name Bar Dog came how?
It came out of Terry, at the ranch. She said she always had dogs running around, and then, a lot of open area restaurants also in California, and people bring their dogs when they go out. And what's interesting to see, and honestly, when you saw the pandemic change, a lot of rules changed in the industry, and a lot more everyone eating outside, and people were eating outside with their dogs.
That's right.
And a lot of dogs luckily were adopted throughout the pandemic too, and found new homes. So it's just a great way to tie it all in together. I mean, even one of the breweries in Connecticut, Illicit up in Manchester, when they opened up, they were like, oh, we got to have Bar Dog here because they had a shelter in front of the brewery that they help, raise money for.
It's pretty cool.
How long's Bar Dog been around?
It's been in Connecticut for a couple of years. I want to say we're probably 4 years, maybe 4 years in when we started the brand, roughly.
And growing in popularity?
Growing in popularity every single month, which is good to see that, more customers get on board at restaurants, more customers at stores. And like I said, we've been expanding the varietal, so there's something for everybody now. When you start with just a Cabernet, you're a little bit limited, right?
Right.
Although I drink all of them.
Well, you know what? Everybody has a favorite. And then what happens is you typically get introduced to other wines.
Mhm.
Everybody they love their cabs, they love their white wine. And my voice, I'm so sorry, everybody over here. Eric's going to do most of the talking today because... my
No,
voice-
he's not.
Yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry. So, what's the first one you want to introduce
Well,
to us?
actually, I would say we would start maybe with the Pinot Grigio. It's
Okay.
a very popular varietal. Really nice to drink this, PG.
Okay. Very nice.
Some for here.
Smells nice.
I've never been a wine person, so
We're going to change that today.
this is new to me.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Salute.
So what's great with Pinot Grigio, it's kind of the white wine that everyone can drink.
So
You had this-
are there any rules for like you see on some of the movies or TV shows that they do this kind of slurp stuff? Or
Good
no?
question.
Well, the idea is that you're kind of pushing air across and aerating and getting all the flavors out, and you want to smell first and get some of those aromas in there.
Right.
So we did check all of them.
Yeah, Dave educated me on this whole smelling the bourbon with mouth open versus mouth closed stuff, and
Yes.
so I don't want to do it in injustice.
We're
you know
gonna
what I mean?
we're gonna let you walk right through it, and it's easy because all these have already been checked, and none of them have any issue either.
Smells like wine.
Beautiful.
But what's nice with wine too, though, is that these wines are really made. Enjoy them by themselves. If you're having a party, like we just had all these parties over the holidays, but they're also really great with food. All
It's
these
sweet.
wines
It's got some
pair
sweetness to it.
pair well with food. So you're not getting any oak on this because it's Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
So you're not getting any oak, but you're kind of getting some, peach and pear and maybe a little Granny Smith, and
My taste buds are
my friend
shot.
gets mango also on there
Is
a
that
little bit.
right?
So now, whites have certain rules to them, right? Like what foods they go with?
It's funny. In the old days, it'd be like you have to have red with meat and you have to have a white with a fish.
Right.
Right? And it's kind of changed a lot. And I always said to everybody, drink what you like. Now, there are going to be some extremes where you're not going to have a Cabernet with a lobster with butter. Not going to work. And you're not going to have this Chardonnay with a ribeye.
Okay.
But there's a lot more flexibility nowadays. But it's also why you can have your white, you can start, and you can have some red with something else. Pinot Noir ends up being one of the most versatile. Just like Bubbles, we have a bottle of Paul Cornell back there, and it's funny when you have sparkling wine / champagne, it's the most versatile of all the wines. It goes with everything, pretty much.
I will tell you, I'm not a big white wine drinker, but that's really good.
Yeah. Right now, you're going to be in trouble because Val didn't make it here to
I
drink
know.
with us.
Do smaller amounts. We have a lot of wine to drink. I'm going to be plastered on top of it. I'm going to be falling out of the chair over here.
So we got safe. We have a little spit cup over here for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
I've never spit one
And
out
what is
before.
this?
So this is actually the Sauvignon Blanc, and if you notice, every one of the wines has a different dog on there. So,
Oh, yeah, very
So yeah,
important,
we
yeah.
had I want to say a corgi on here. We've got a pug on here. We got a lab on here. Looked like my Roxy, who was from a kill shelter back
Do you know
in the
that
day.
Cole Banker, the dog, is the lab? That
Well-
yellow lab is the dog for Cole Banker.
I mean, honestly, I think every customer who buys a house from you should get a bottle of Bar Dog then.
It's actually a really good idea.
I can make that happen.
I think we can make that happen together. Love that idea. All right.
So now we're doing Sauv Blanc, and that's a very popular varietal. A lot of New Zealand Sauv Blanc are out there. That usually has a bit more grapefruit spritziness on your palate. This one you're going to get some of that citrus, some more lemon. You're getting a little grapefruit, but not the same as a New Zealand. So I find that as a California Sauv Blanc, it's a lot more versatile with food and very approachable. But again, it's got a lot of, you see that citrus coming through?
Yeah, I mean, my taste buds are shot, but
And you still can
I
taste it.
Yeah, I can taste the wine.
Our winemakers are awesome out in California.
California wine is the best
And,
wine.
and we
in my
also
opinion.
own some awesome wineries up out of Oregon with Firesteed and growers,
Really?
and then up in Oregon with Owen Rowe and Tamarack. So we're very diverse across the whole western side of
I
the
think
country.
the wine's making my throat better.
Of course it is.
I'm not kidding you.
Hi.
Oh, it's very interesting.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Medical miracle. Oop, wrong
Next
glass.
up will be Chardonnay, but now on this one we do a little French oak also. You'll see the difference.
Now, if any of you guys have any questions out there for Mr. Rob Williams with Vintage Wine Estates, Bardag Wines, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, and if you're on TikTok over here live, please don't hesitate to ask questions. Again, maybe I'm not the right guy to be talking right now, but my voice is actually getting better. Pretty amazing.
The
Do
wine is
these,
amazing.
Do these have to be at a particular temperature? Is there like
White
a
wine
temperature
put in your
required?
white wine put in your fridge.
Fridge.
Red wine usually at room temperature,
temperature.
but not in the sun, right? So many times people they'll have their wine rack and they'll have it next to their window, and then they're like, "Oh, my wine went bad." It's
Right.
not meant to be in direct sunlight next to your window or
I
next
got,
to your
I got a
heater.
little orange flavor in that Chardonnay. Is that possible?
You can be getting a little orange, a little creme brulee, maybe a
Yeah.
little baked apple coming
Yeah.
through. Yes.
Do you have a question?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Where can I buy Bar Dog?
Who's the
Awesome.
question from?
Whiskey by Louise.
I love
Whiskey.
that name.
Whiskey asking about-
Whisked by
Oh,
Louise.
whiskey.
Whisk by Louise.
Okay.
Thank you so much for asking that question.
So you see,
Rob
Dave has
Williams.
whiskey on this wine. We do make some whiskeys and bourbons too. So, actually, if you go to vintagewineestates.com and you scroll to the very bottom of our page, you'll see it says retail locator, and you just type in your zip code. And what's awesome with that is that when you put that zip code in, it'll have all the different brands that we sell. So find Bar Dog and click Find All Bar Dog, and then it'll populate a map for you for restaurants and for stores. So, and the good news is that any store in Connecticut can buy this wine from their distributors and get it for you also.
What was that website again?
VintageWineestates.com.
VintageWineestates.com. My voice is coming back.
How many places carry it right now? Do you know?
We're probably in about 250, I'd say, in the state, roughly.
Wow.
So,
That's a
which
lot
is
of
good.
places.
Growing.
You know, I know your favorite buddy down there in Cheshire at Premier.
Yeah,
where you got it. And
Premier Wine and Spirits, great place to buy your wines and all other beverages. Ron and Donna, great people there.
yeah, and then
Absolutely.
my little local shop in Trumbull where I live now.
What's
you
your
know,
name?
G&G. So
G&G,
they
yeah.
have a lot of our stuff. And when you hit that website, which is nice, and you hit Bar Dog, it'll then show you any other brand that we sell in the stores or the restaurants also, which is nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
So the Chardonnay different though, right? More
Yeah,
body,
it-
a little bit bigger in your mouth.
Yeah.
You could have some of that lobster you like with
Normally I don't like bigger in my mouth, but this case I do.
that PG show went right out the window. We're gonna rinse a
Yeah,
little with
no,
the
here
red
we
wine.
go.
All right, hold on. Let me just rinse a little water.
You can do some
We're
water.
gonna
in
get
this too.
suspended by TikTok. You watch. Just
TikTok, if you're watching out there, our first time out there, you might be one
our
or
first 10
100.
minutes on TikTok and we violate the rules.
So Pinot Noir, it's funny. You know, a lot of times people are like, "Oh, what do you drink the most?" I probably drink the most Pinot because it's such a versatile red.
Too much. You're gonna get me
It's all right.
smashed
We're
over
gonna
here.
we're gonna pour it out. You don't have to drink it.
I've never poured anything
Just
out
taste.
before. Okay, just a tasting.
No, no, good. This, you
This
already
is-
gave me this, right?
Oh, this is the
Same
Pinot
one?
Noir, yeah. So you can see also how light it is. Even if you hold it up to your paper, you can see right through it. This is 100% Pinot Noir. So by law, you have to be 75% of a varietal in California to have it on a label. But this is 100% Pinot, so an expensive grape to use, very elegant grape.
Is
though.
that right?
Yeah,
Expensive.
it's more expensive because it's, you know, it's a very finicky grape when they grow it, but I love Pinot because it's very versatile, right? So you can be out and someone could have fish, someone could have pork, and someone could have a fillet, and it works for everybody.
Yeah, no,
And-
I'll agree with you.
And my friend Mandy down there, you know, who works with us, she's like, "Rob, you gotta have it with barbecue." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, with pulled pork." And I was like, wouldn't have thought of that. Usually I do a red blend or a Zinfandel that we have, or a Cabernet when I do pulled pork.
You know,
So
today,
now I'm gonna have to make pulled pork.
you know, today, I think you mentioned before, like typically white wine with fish,
Mm-hmm.
red wine with meat. But I definitely see more and more people doing the, what do you call it? Mixing it up, if you will.
Absolutely.
It's not like there's a rule of thumb that it has to be a certain way in order for you to. At the end of the day, it's like whatever you like to drink is what you like to drink.
Yeah,
Go for it. As long as it's Bar Dog.
exactly. Or one of our other brands. I'll let you have any other one too.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I love Pinot because it's so versatile. It's one of our best sellers too, and
Dave, this is your
My drink cup.
your next taste.
we'll use the
You
other
might
Kind
ones
of a
next.
blend of all of them.
So now we're doing red blends, and red blends a category of
Perfect.
that you see in the stores a lot.
I love blends.
And it could vary from a sweet wine, which we're not
You want some,
making.
Amanda? We'll drink some wine. We'll get you a cup over here. We should
Get that
actually,
twist.
in the glass. There's a glass over there. I can get some glasses for
It
you.
was the worst pour ever right there just now. But so this is a red blend, and we have a lot of different red blends in the company, and they're all different. This one happens to be more Merlot based. Some of our other ones are more Cab based or
Definitely
Zinfandel
taste
based.
it more low in here.
Yeah, so it gives it that. You get some of that cherry, some of that, you know, different
little
little
bite- a
cocoa,
little bit of
plum.
bite.
Can't
little
see,
bite to it?
can't see through this one.
Nope, can't see through this one. This one's a lot darker with that Merlot. It's only 13% alcohol.
A little bite to it, or is that my taste buds?
You can say bite. I
Maybe
would
it's the
say.
right word bite, but it's like a.
Maybe some tannins coming
Tannins
through.
coming in,
Maybe
yes.
have some tannin.
Yeah,
Pinot Noir, much lower tannins.
much lower tannins.
Still using French oak on all the reds, by the way, which is nice.
What's a tannin?
That's that drying effect that you're gonna get, you know, and you get it on the red wines, and it's from that skin contact, and
Okay.
so, you know, some of them are, you can have some wines that are super tannic, and you drink, and you're like, your whole mouth puckers, it's so, it gets so dry,
Let me
dried
ask,
out.
let me ask you a question. The barrels. Now, the barrels that are being used, are they brand new barrels?
Actually, that's a great question. We're not only are we using French oak barrels, which are even more expensive than American, we're using new barrels on these.
Wow.
So very expensive proposition. Somehow our winemaking team was able to convince the upper management, hey, we want to use these real expensive barrels because we want this wine to over deliver. And
So these wines, the reds, the whites, the Chardonnays, the Pinot Noirs, Cabs,
no oak,
no oak.
not on these. The Chard has oak, and the reds all had oak.
Oak barrels.
Mhm.
What is a Pinot and a
Stainless steel.
No kidding.
Mhm. Yep,
I did
so-
not know that.
Yeah. Usually on that type of like aromatic whites and stuff, you're going to use stainless steel. And some Chardonnay has oak, and some Chardonnays don't have oak. That's another thing that you look at. And, you know, we're just talking California here, but obviously it's different when you get to other parts.
Now, when these guys finish the barrel, do they reuse them?
So you'll use sometimes used barrel, and you might read if you're ever reading specs. Oh, we use 1-year-old barrels, 2-year-old barrels,
So
and
then-
then sometimes the barrel becomes neutral because it's been used a few times, and you're not really imparting so much of that flavor coming from it, but more just as a storage vessel when they're making the wines.
So, let's say a Pinot Noir, I'm sorry, actually no, a Pinot Noir
Mm-hmm.
or a Cab would use the same barrel how many times before they would?
It depends on it, the winery. That would be a question for one of our crack winemaking team to see how often they use their barrels. You can only use it can only be new once though.
Right.
Right. So
So the flavor is going to change.
correct.
On the second and third time.
Absolutely. Or till it gets to neutral. Right.
Right.
And in that case, it's just for aging purposes, and it's a neutral barrel that they're using instead of say stainless steel.
And do they
Some
take-
parts they even have concrete that you'll see like these old-fashioned
do they take the barrels and then sell them to, let's say, Scotch, bourbon, whiskey?
Okay, great question. And sometimes they do sell them off. Sometimes they'll sell them to woodworkers and they make fun decorations for you. But they will sell them sometimes to bourbon companies. And we actually have a brand in our portfolio called the Splinter Group. And we're going to visit them. And they make the whiskey, the rye, and the bourbon down in Bardstown, Kentucky. And then we take wine barrels that actually held Cabernet and Pinot Noir that were French oak barrels, and then do a secondary aging in there.
I was telling Eric we're going to go to bourbon country in March. Big trip we're planning, and we're very excited about it. It'd be interesting to know if in Bardstown or any of these places have any of the barrels from Bardog.
No, they won't have any for Bar Dog.
Interesting.
Usually it'll be a higher end Cabernet they might see some of them using. That's usually the dominant one. Like I said, so we ship and we do our secondary aging on our spirit in Napa. So it's kind of, so our secondary aging's done in a French oak barrel that had Cab and Pinot. And Bob Cabral's actually the winemaker who uses those barrels.
What is it?
Bob Cabral.
Okay.
He's actually works on our whiskey project, and he does a secondary aging.
You got a question out there, Jonathan? No. Okay. How's it sound? How's it sound, everybody over here? We sound good to you guys out there? Again, my voice is shot, so I apologize. Hopefully, Eric and also, what's that? You want to show the? We're going to show you a little screen of the wines you carry. Well, not a screen, like a little bit of a PDF on the wines we carry over here with Bar Dog. Is that my? You just rinse out over here.
No, you're good.
No?
You rinse between the red and the white.
Okay. Thank you so much. And this one is
So this is what started all, Bar Dog.
Cabernet.
That's it.
Normally, I'm a cab kind of guy. That's my go-to number.
Yes, it is. I know that for a fact, and I'm glad we were able to switch you over to the BR Cone before. But
The BR Cone is phenomenal.
what's great about Bar Dog is, people picked it up when it first came out because it was a cute package, right? You see it, you're like, oh, it has a dog on it. It looks so nice. But once they taste it, they're like, wow, this really over-delivers because our average price is between $12.99, $14.99 in every state.
Wow.
And it drinks at a much higher price point on every single one of those wines.
When people are out there shopping for wine, it's important to know, makes a great gift, and even if you make the wrong choice on a Merlot, a Pinot, a Cab, or a Chardonnay, maybe you introduce somebody to a new kind of wine they've tried before. And Bar Dog would be a great place to start.
And help dogs at the same time.
And help dogs at the same time. I bet you Cole Banker would like to get involved in this, event. Alcohol driven, realtors love alcohol, and then helping to, help pets out.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about it, we've got shelters all throughout Connecticut. There's so many of them out there that are, trying to adopt dogs and cats too. Someone yelled at me the other day, what about cats? I'm like, listen, we like cats too, but it is Bar Dog. And, and my other dog did like a cat. So, you're helping them at the same time, and you're having a great bottle of wine.
So what happens with these bottles now that they've all been opened?
Well, I know you might want to take some home, but I know Val already is probably sending him a text saying, make sure you bring some of those wines home.
It's funny you mention that. She's probably texting me so right now my phone is being used for the TikTok Nation. I don't know how many people are watching TikTok. It's our first time doing this. But I'm going to tell you, very excited to have everybody out there watching and to see what's going on. Anybody with any kind of conversation. Wow, 86 people watching live for the first time. Pretty cool stuff. Any conversations out there at all? Anybody talking or saying anything at all? 100. What are 100 people live on TikTok?
Yay.
How awesome is that?
Every
Guys,
day.
we are live with Rob Williams from Vintage Wine Estates. I can't talk. A wonderful brand of wines, Bar Dog Wine, a company who is out there helping save dogs with donations and producing excellent wines.
Yes.
This is fantastic.
Our company as a whole does a lot of good charity work too, which is nice. Out in California, we have a program called Angel Share where they help actually a big food bank,
Wow.
the Redwood Food Bank, and a lot of our team in California, besides them donating money, and we've done food packing for them. We have people this weekend, I think on Friday, a whole bunch of our employees are going to be at the food bank helping pack food for the unfortunate. But
And where is that located?
out in California in the Santa Rosa area.
So we're here in Connecticut, in North Haven, and we're talking about a great experience for people in California.
All over the place, and then Purple Cowboy, which we talked about in October. I know you tried that one at a restaurant. we go 100% of our profit to a breast cancer charity called Tough Enough to Wear Pink. So
Wow.
not just once a year,
Is
not
that
just a few
vintage,
dollars.
or is that Bar Dog?
No, that's the Purple Cowboy one here.
So
That's
here's
actually a charity created, I think, 18 years ago.
Purple Cowboy. 100% of the profit
All year.
goes to cancer awareness. Definitely make sure you know this brand, you know this wine, and help to make this experience very positive.
Are there different types, or is it
There's
just
two
the
types. There's a
temperature?
Cabernet and there's a red blend. Completely different than this red blend. And that's why I said we have all different ones. And this one's actually all Paso Robles fruit. So subdivision inside California. This is California AVA. That's a smaller AVA. So, and then Firesteed, which is a Pinot that I know you've had with me. That one we actually just started a new charity called Dream of Horses for retired rodeo horses out in
Wow.
Colorado. Yeah, so a little bit of different give back things in the company, which I think is a nice thing to do, and give you a great product at the same time.
Beautiful. I know that that was the last wine.
That was the last one.
All right.
I mean, we can open anything else you want too. So
I appreciate that. I know you have some giveaways.
yeah, we have a few things here. We have some bar dog hats. We've got dog bandana. We got a bowl, a leash.
So which one of you guys is watching Facebook? Jonathan. And you're watching Instagram and TikTok. All right. So before you guys are watching right now live, we're going to give away some freebies.
Oh, great.
And we're going to do it live with you guys right here. So let's see what we got to give away. Let's give the first item up.
Whatever, you know what? I say you pick up one and we could always get you another one, whatever they want.
All right. So what is that?
Those are little dog bandanas.
Are they
All right.
not napkins? They're not dog napkins?
No.
Okay,
Dogs don't usually use napkins.
All right.
No.
okay. Well,
Who
the refined
wants-
dogs do.
All right. The first people on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook who say, I want a bandana for their dog, please put your hand up. And we'll call your names out when you're watching. We can do it live. Okay.
Also, I would say that, you know, all the platforms that you're talking about being on, you could join all those platforms for Bar Dog also.
Oh, very nice.
Very active on social media, our company is, and each of our individual brands, but Bar Dog probably, you know, leads the pack, right?
Love it.
On that one. And we do our own giveaways often, and we just had a Christmas giveaway when someone sent in their 3 dogs dressed up. So every single month they have different activities going on for Bar Dog, sending us pictures of your pets. And on the regular website too, you'll see all dogs that have been impacted. There's actually
Wow.
a page showing all these dogs that have been helped through the charity with Pet Finder and with Bar Dog Wines and dogs that have been adopted. So it's just a great, great cause.
So we're gonna give it out also to anybody who's interested from Bar Dog. What is that? A dog leash?
That's a dog leash.
Bar dog, dog leash.
So you're gonna put your hands up. We're gonna be following along. You guys may be watching it now and later because this show is gonna re-air, of course, as you guys know. Dog leash, and we have tennis balls for
Not
dogs.
regulation. Bar dog, tennis balls.
That's cute. I love it.
We
Bar
got-
Dog tennis balls.
Yeah, we got some hats. I think we have a dog bowl. So we've got a couple more leashes too. So
Beautiful.
I think you got something for every platform that you have going today.
So anybody who's interested in some of the freebies given away here today, please put a hand up and we will get in touch with you and we will get you out these free products. Make sure to have your contact information available for us too. Awesome stuff.
So tell us about your local partnerships.
So our local partner, like I said, was Dan Cosgrove right now, down in Brantford. Awesome organization, you know, no-kill shelter, and they do a phenomenal job. They actually have a new facility being built, so we're waiting to see them open that and help them out, doing an event with them. And then Companion Pet Rescue, where actually my other dog, Bella, I think she might be on the screen, we can't see. She's a little brown one. She was also from a no-kill group up out of Southbury area, so we're
Okay.
also tied in with them. And then this just shows you the whole Bar Dog tied in with Pet Finder, you know, and you could search, like I said, you go on to Pet Finder, you can find animals all over the country.
Very cool.
Yeah, some of our retailers, you know, throughout the states have also had their own charity tie-ins that we've done. Even my friend up in Massachusetts at Liquors 44, he's a big adopter and supporter.
Who's your biggest seller of Bar Dog wine?
Believe it or not, it's actually a restaurant right now in Connecticut. And they got on board the Stumble Inn out in Old Lyme. And the manager or the owner, she loves dogs. And she's like, oh my God, I got to have this wine. So she's actually the biggest user right now.
The Stumble Inn?
The Stumble Inn.
I get it.
Yeah.
Usually I stumble out.
Sometimes you might stumble getting in too, but yeah. So,
Big props to Stumble In and what is
yeah,
it?
Old Lime.
Old Lime.
Old Lime, yeah. And
Thank you
then,
for your support.
yeah, we got a bunch of places at Mystic. Listic's a big one, so.
You have anything for us, Jonathan?
Yeah, we got somebody who commented in one.
Oh.
Hands on Moving LLC one.
Excellent.
So, I
Xavier
don't-
from Hands on Moving.
I actually used them recently.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, they did a great job.
It's giving back.
It's giving back. So Xavier is going to be getting some freebies coming out to him from Rob Williams. Very cool. Thank you so much, Xavier, reaching out. Love having you out there. And let's see, how many wines do you sell?
We have 60 different brands in the company, and there's probably over 1,000 SKUs, if not more. Some of them, like I said, are direct to consumer that I don't deal with. We're the commercial side with the brands that we have, and I think there might have been a picture that Jonathan put up on the screen on the second slide. So we have everything. I mean, we even made the House of Dragon.
Wow.
Wine for them for HBO.
Very cool.
And some of the ones that we brought in here, the Fire Steed, we talked about Cherry Pie's another great Pinot, Cundy, oldest family-owned vineyards in Sonoma. So we're throughout all different areas.
Should we show that to people?
Yeah, you can pull that up there.
So we have
I know you like that one too.
cherry pie.
Another Pinot Noir. And then we have a little of everything for everybody.
Now, if you're out at dinner, I'm going to tell you right now, this one here is definitely a winner. The Biercone, a fantastic bottle of wine, something that is going to move your senses, your palate, and hit your taste buds really strong.
A lot of great restaurants
Yes.
carry that wine.
All right, Bob, you've been a phenomenal guest over here today. Lots of information. I learned more about wine in the last 45 minutes than I've probably known in a long time.
Well, that's good.
Well, we know it works on your throat, too.
And it's
Exactly.
It's
Sounds
definitely
better
not-
already, right?
I think the whites actually cured my throat a little bit.
Listen, that's what they do. It's natural.
Natural medicine for the throat. All right, everybody. So, everybody, make sure you get onto the website.
Yep.
Again, the website is
VintageWineestates.com, and you can see all our different brands on there. We've shown really a fraction of them today. But if you scroll to the bottom, it'll say Retail Locator. You type your zip code in, and you hit go, find whatever brand you're looking for, and then it'll give you a map of every store and restaurant in Connecticut.
what about New York?
And in any state you're in, it's going to do it for, which is awesome.
We have a lot of people all over the country that are watching this.
That's great.
So it's important for people to know they can find it where their local locations are.
Absolutely. Anywhere in the country, it'll populate for you, which is great. It was funny. It was Thanksgiving. We were doing a tasting, and a customer, actually it was cherry pie they bought, and they're like, I can't find this in Florida. And we whipped out the app and said, oh, what's your zip code? She's like, oh my God, I know where that store is. I'm like, go in.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right. Next part of our show. We get a free tumbler out every show. If you want to be on the wheel to win a tumbler, definitely let us know. Put your hands up on TikTok. We will add you to our wheel. We have a chance to win every week a tumbler. Instagram and Facebook. Please let us know if you want to be on the wheel. There are over 100 people on that wheel now, and every week we give out a free tumbler. So, let's see who the lucky winner is this week, please.
I just realized you had the custom name on there.
Oh yeah, on the back side, yeah.
Somebody on the VIP version.
Yes. Turn around so we can see the logo.
Pebble 430 from Instagram. Pebble 430 from Instagram.
Pebble 430 from Instagram.
Pebble 430 from Instagram. You're gonna get a brand new tumbler. All right. It's a phenomenal thing to use for all types of drinks, hot and cold, and you will love your tumbler. Again, TikTok Nation, if you want one of these, please let us know. Hands up, we'll put you on the wheel. Instagram, Facebook, please let us know if you want one of these tumblers. We give one out every week. Rob Williams, thank you so much for being on our show, my friend.
Thanks for having us.
You were
Appreciate it.
fantastic. Great show. We really appreciate having you. And we want to thank you all for joining us every week. Hopefully next week my voice will be better. I want a much better show and sound quality from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you all, everybody. Have a great week.